Well, hello, Exile, StevieB here from StevieB Gaming. Look guys, with the latest Cast on Crit nerf that we've had, there's been a lot of issues coming up, a lot of questions and arguments as to whether or not Cast on Crit is still a viable build. The long story short is maybe. Now, maybe is really determined on how much income you have. Before, Cast on Crit was a relatively easy build to do. You could do quite a simple one for under say 15x, so it would let you farm level 78 maps, certainly do DOM runs quite easily, and I think they were trying to avoid people being able to build such powerful builds so easily. Now obviously if you have the currency and you've already built up some gear, they can never nerf a build so much it gets totally destroyed. But as to whether or not it's still as overpowered as it was before, that's what we're going to have a look at right now. Let me just quickly show you the gear that I'm using. I'm still using a Wind Ripper. Even though they've nerfed the chance to crit quite a lot, I can still get, I think, 92.5% chance to crit with 5 power charges on this Wind Ripper that I have. If I change back to my old one, which had a base of 12%, I'm well over capped at 95%. So it's making it more difficult to be able to do with the bow build, but if you're using a Prophecy Wand, which you can get, I think, up to 12.15, 12.2, somewhere around there percent, then it's still relatively easy to get your 95%. So I'm using the Wind Ripper. You'll see I've got an empty slot here. What I'm doing is I'm only using Arc on the cast to crit, and I'm using Barrage with GMP, so we're hitting a lot and as often as possible. Okay, I'm going to run this into a map and show you how it actually works. While I'm doing that, I'll talk you through the idea of Cast on Crit in case you haven't actually used it before. The long story short with Cast on Crit is we are basically casting every time we land a critical strike. Now, it means you have to have a high accuracy, it means you have to have a high chance to crit, and it also means you need to hit a lot for this to be worthwhile. Because a lot of nodes are spent on getting your crit chance quite high that you don't have a hell of a lot of nodes spare to be able to boost your spell and elemental damage. So you kind of want to make that up by using quantity. Now, like I said, at the moment I've only got Arc in. I'm just going to do a few kills with just Arc. This is basically how I do farming. With that empty blue spot, I put in item rarity, and then I change my belt to something with life leech on lightning damage, and then I can swap out my red gem for increased item quantity. But since that is a legacy, I'm not really going to bring that into the equation right now. So you can see that with Arc it seems fine. This is a level 74 map with increased monster life, so you know the monster life is probably similar to most mods in a 76 map, and I'm only doing half of the damage that I could be doing. So you can see it's running relatively well. Let's go ahead and chuck in Fireball, Firestorm. There we go. Gonna put in Fireball, and now you'll see that we are still mowing things down. We don't have that solid stream that we had before, but it's still quite impressive. There we go. So it's still got a very good clearing speed. That nerf of dropping to 0.05 instead of 0.01, I have noticed a bit of a difference, but I mean look, you can see how these fireballs are really just kind of steamrolling over everything. If you're bored and you're running these relatively low level maps and you feel like burning up your graphics card, here's a fun thing for you to try. Take Chain, replace it inside there, and we're going to take out our Arc and replace it with Firestorm. Now look, this is not good for bosses, this is more just for fun. And I think this is a lot of fun. Not everybody agrees. It works better in, there we go, here's a larger group. And you'll see it just really rains down fire on these people. Okay, let me go ahead and change back to my usual setup. Take out Chain, and we're going to put Arc back in. Right, so effectively if you've already got pretty good gear and you're already at a high level, I'd say over level 85, somewhere around there, then Cast on Crit is definitely viable. What they have done is that they have screwed it up for people who don't have a lot of funds. So yeah, it's still a very capable build, decent clear speed. If you're lucky and you've got faster boosts, then you'll actually find you can clear maps very, very quickly. The damage is really not a problem. I want to show you how it does against bosses. Basically, the idea with killing a boss is you want to hit it as many times with as much damage as you can, as quickly as possible. Because you know, the build, it's a bit of a glass cannon kind of build. You're not really that tough, but you can dish it out. So the idea is you want to kill the boss before he has a chance to hit you more than once. I'll show you how we do that. Obviously, if you're constantly leeching, you got to make sure you keep doing damage. So it's not just how much damage you can deal out that's determined by your cast and crit, but your survivability as well. If you stop dealing damage, you die. It's one of the lovely things about Arc, is Arc will jump around, kill things around the corner, and the whole time it's shocking. Because remember, Arc, if you're hitting 4 or 5 times, it's almost guaranteed that you're going to shock those enemies in front of you. A danger with it is you can still kill people off screen, but that's more with the fireball, not so much with the Arc, as the range isn't nearly as far as fireball. Come on guys, who wants to die? All of you want to die. I have tried out a cast and crit build using daggers and spectral throw. The clear speed is really fantastic for groups, but I did find that it didn't do terribly well against single targets. You'll see if you do get an Illy reflect, especially when he's reflecting off all of his allies, you want to pop down a flame totem, just kill a few of them off, and then when you do attack them, if you are using the same combo as me, being fireball and arc, you want to run out of range of your arc, because remember your arc will shock them, and if you hit a crit on your arc, it's monumental damage, it gets bounced back at you, it's instant death basically. So you just want to kind of run back a bit, let the fireballs hit them, you will leech them damage back. So it works out alright. You just need to be careful with that. Come on guys. Okay, I'm gonna stop messing around here. Let me just see if I can just get to the boss. Come on, everybody just die. I'll show you the gear that I'm using at the end in case you haven't seen the other videos. I will be redoing this build again, going back to a wand build. I'm not really sure why. This does seem to be doing quite well, but then again I'm going to be pushing for level 100 soon, as soon as I built up enough currency to get the right map base and fix some my items, and the wand idea works a lot better, especially since I've already got a shield which gives like plus 45 to 50% to all of the resistances. Oh, there's the boss. Who's the boss? Yeah, you can see the damage isn't so high against the bosses. It does take a little bit too long. Anyways, here's a quick rundown of the gear. I'll just show you the key elements. The Wind Ripper is what I'm using at the moment, but anything with a critical strike chance of 10% or around there is fine at higher levels. Because remember, at higher levels we've got enough nodes and we can actually go ahead and buy a lot of the increased critical strike chance. If you're below, say, level 60, then you definitely want to look at something like a Prophecy Wand. You want that crit strike chance to be, say, 11.5, maybe 12% or higher, just so you don't have to spend all of your available passives on the passive tree to increase that, because you will need some kind of defense. Then obviously the Vol's Protector, this gives you all of the power charges. If you are building a cheap version of this, then you can get the Tabula Rasa as a 6-link. They usually go for like 1.5x, and then use power charge on crit. The only drawback is that it takes a little bit longer to get your initial power charges, because you know, it's a percentage chance of getting it, not a guarantee on a critical strike. But you find that if you're hitting a lot of mobs, and once you got your power charges, it really is no problem at all. And then you still have 5 links of any colors that you can build whatever the hell you want out of it. So if you're wanting a cheaper version, get yourself a Prophecy Wand. You do have to put a lot of intelligence though, because Prophecy Wand's, I think, intelligence requirement is like 240 something, but the base crit chance is huge. Get yourself a Tabula Rasa, which will, you know, allow you to get the power charge and crits and have whatever colors you want inside there. And then if you're going for instead of a bow, you're going for wand, then you can use any kind of shield that you really want. I would actually say don't focus too much on spell damage if you're using it to level, rather focus on getting resistances on your shield, because you won't need more damage. The only time you start worrying about more damage is when you're, you know, trying to clear level 78 maps in parties. Even if you're doing solo level 78 maps, you don't need any spell damage in your shield arm. Cool guys, look, thanks very much. Long story short, yes, cast on crit with patch 1.3 is still viable. I just don't think it's as overpowered as it was. and it's more expensive if you want to farm the high level maps, but it is still possible to make a cheaper one. In the next day or two, I'm actually going to be releasing a level 60 build for casts on crits, and I'm trying to make it under 10x, but it's probably going to be under 15x, so keep your eye out for that. The idea is to let players get a farming build so they can start getting currency coming up quite soon. Awesome guys, thanks very much. StevieB out. Hey guys and girls, StevieB here from StevieB Gaming. I just want to say thanks very much for watching the video, and I'd love to see some comments, likes and subscriptions from it. I want to give this a good shot, review lots of games, focus a lot on Path of Exile to keep people up to date with all the changes happening in the wonderful world of Rayclass. To do this, I need your help. Please click the subscribe button. Every subscription gives me some motivation to keep it up and to get better. Thanks again, StevieB signing off.